Hello, we are back again with readings from the corpus of early Arabic sources for West African history, continuing with our focus on Kanem, or Kanem Bornu. Today's reading will be a selection of Ibn Said's Book of Geography from the 13th century. His account of Kanem relies heavily on a lost account of a traveler named Ibn Fatima. But let's begin. In this third section is Lake Kuri, from which the Niles of Egypt, Makdishu, and Ghana issue. We have already said how the rivers descend to it from the two lakes where it touches the equator. It projects 30 minutes, a little more or less, above the equator in the form of a circle. It is 1,000 miles long. Its eastern end is longitude 51 degrees, and its western end coincides with the end of the third section. Its width at the head is 9 degrees 30 minutes, then it gets gradually narrower until its width at the middle is 450 miles, and at the tail 360 miles. Ibn Fatima says, "I have never met anyone who has seen its southern side. It is navigated only by the Kanemis and their neighbors, such as we encountered on the northern side. It is surrounded on all sides by peoples of the Sudan, cruel pagans who eat men. The best known of them are those whom we mention, namely, the dwellers on the north side, among whom are the Badi, after whom their city is named, and from beneath which issues the Ghana Nile. Their territory is all around it. Their neighbors on the west are the Jati. It is they who file their teeth. If there is a death among them, they hand over the corpse to their neighbors for them to eat, and their neighbors do the same for them. To the south of the lake are the Inkizar, and to the east the Kuri after whom it is named. To the east of the town of Badi, among the Moslem Kanem, is Jaja. It is the seat of a separate kingdom with towns and villages now belonging to the Sultan of Kanem. It is characterized by fertility and abundance of the good things of life. There are peacocks there, and parrots, and speckled chickens, and piebald sheep of the size of small donkeys, but shaped differently from our sheep. There are many giraffes in the land of Jaja. To the east of the town at the angle of the lake is Al-Magza, where the Sultan of Kanem's arsenal is situated. He often makes raids from there with his fleet on the lands of the pagans on the shores of this lake, and attacks their ships and kills and takes prisoners. The city of Jaja is in longitude 48 degrees 20 minutes, latitude 7 degrees. Level with the angle of the lake, where the longitude is 51 degrees, there is one of the celebrated cities of Kanem called Manan. Its latitude is 13 degrees. Southeast of it is Jimi, the capital of Kanem, where the longitude is 53 degrees and the latitude 9 minutes. There resides the Sultan of Kanem, well known for his religious warfare and charitable acts, Muhammadi of the posterity of Saif bin Yazan. The capital of his pagan ancestors before they adopted Islam was the town of Manan. His great-great-great-grandfather was converted to Islam by a scholar, and then Islam spread through the rest of the land of Kanem. This sultan has authority there over kingdoms such as those of the Tajua, Kawar, and Fazan. God has assisted him, and he has many descendants and armies. His clothes are brought to him from the capital of Tunis. He has scholars around him. On a level with Jimi at the end of this section, he possesses Ni, where he has a garden and a pleasure ground and a boat. It lies on the west bank of the Egyptian Nile and is 40 miles from Jimi. Its fruits do not resemble ours. They have many pomegranates and peaches. They used to tend the sugar cane, but it yielded little, and only the Sultan concerns himself with it. The same applies to vines and wheat. In this section, the Nile of Egypt issues from Lake Kuri in longitude 51 degrees and latitude 6 degrees. At the point where it leaves the lake is the town of Kuri, which belongs to the man-eating Sudan. This town is to the north of it, where the mountains of Mukasim stretch in an arc from the beginning of the southeast corner of the lake toward it. Also from beneath these mountains issues the Nile of Makdishu, a little beyond the equator. They say that within Lake Kuri is Mount Luratis, which is situated in this third section. Ptolemy states that it makes its appearance in longitude 43 degrees, latitude 3 degrees 20 minutes, and terminates in longitude 38 degrees 45 minutes in the same latitude. It is also called the Mountain of Gold. The Sudan assert that the gold found in the lands of the Nile when it is in flood is from the deposits in this range. Nobody can approach it because of the many lethal serpents and beasts there. Its shoreward sides are thronged with crocodiles and Nile horses, hippopotamuses. It is said that the horses are not hunted in this lake, but only in the Ghana Nile and the Nuba Nile. To the east of the mountains of Makaris, separating the Kanem Mountains from Kalkal, is the territory of the Kanem with their Berber followers, who were converted to Islam by Ibn Habal, the Sultan of Kanem. They are his slaves. He uses them on his raids and takes advantage of their camels, which have filled these regions. The region where the Zagawa wander is to the east of Manan. They are for the most part Muslims, owing obedience to the Sultan of Kanem. To the north of Manan and the territory of the Kanem, the Akawar wander. Their well-known towns are in the second climb, and they are Muslims, owing obedience to the Sultan of Kanem. So we can see from Ibn Sa'id's account, which borrows heavily from the traveler Ibn Fatima, that Kanem was the dominant power in the Lake Chad region, but there were many sections and areas adjacent to the lake which were inhabited by so-called pagans who were not directly under the rule of Kanem. So Kanem in the 1200s seems to have dominated the northern shores of the region and extended its influence by then into the Fazan, Kawar, and perhaps as far east as some of the lands between Lake Chad and the actual Nile River. It's interesting that they use the word Lake Kuri for Lake Chad instead of the more familiar